Coming up in this edition of Airborne, America's passenger airship operation is deflated, FIFI needs your help, and Tecnam introduces a new affordable flyer. I'm Ashley Hale. Welcome to Airborne on Aero-TV. Well, it was the perfect blending of the golden age of aviation and today's newest technology. But apparently that wasn't enough to save the return of the Zeppelin. Airship Ventures of Moffet Field, California, operators of the world's largest passenger airship, the Zeppelin Eureka, are closing their doors effective today. Founded in 2008, Airship Ventures made history by bringing passenger airship operations back to the U.S. for the first time since the 1930s, and they enjoyed a stellar safety record. But unfortunately, that just wasn't enough. The economic recession, the inability to sign a full-time sponsor, and the world helium shortage have combined to deflate the airship's operations. Airship Ventures CEO Brian Hall said, quote, "Operating this unique aircraft has been an inspiring experience, and it is with a very heavy heart that we've come to this point requiring us to cease operations and ground Eureka." The company is issuing refunds by check to any passengers who have standing flight reservations. The often heard battle cry, "Keep 'em flying," has taken on a fresh new urgency, with the news that the last flying B-29 Superfortress has been grounded and is in need of serious repair. During the last airshow flight of the season, the world's only flying B-29 Superfortress, FIFI, experienced an engine problem. The crew returned the airplane safely to the ground, but it was soon determined that FIFI's number 2 engine would need major repairs. In response, the Commemorative Air Force has launched a major fundraising campaign to raise money for one of the world's most famous World War II bombers. At nearly $10,000 and 100 volunteer hours per hour of flight, keeping FIFI in the air is no easy task, and the cost for repairs to the number 2 engine and the purchase of a spare will top nearly $250,000. The Keep FIFI Flying campaign's goal is to raise those funds, ensuring continuous future operation and flight. To learn how you can keep FIFI flying, log on to www.keepfififlying.com. Well, if an affordable, no-frills, factory-built aircraft is on your Christmas list, then Tecnam North America may just be your Santa Claus. Tecnam has launched the new P92 Echo Classic Light at a special introductory price through the end of 2012. Tecnam says the airplane responds to market demand for a no-frills basic aircraft that will retain the great flight characteristics of the best-selling P92 family of aircraft. The P92 Echo Classic Light will appeal to budget-conscious buyers who are looking for a low-cost, predominantly metal, factory-produced light sport aircraft from a major manufacturer. The basic airplane's features include a Rotax 912 UL 80 horsepower engine, which can use auto fuel, all require day VFR instrumentation, and a standard 2-year, 200-hour warranty. The P92 Light has a max cruise speed of 103 knots, with an endurance of 3 hours. Prices start at only $74,999 for a day VFR aircraft. The other side has finally blinked. The European Union will delay the implementation of its emissions trading scheme for non-European flag airliners for a year, giving the ICAO an opportunity to craft an international plan that can be palatable to the rest of the world. In a news conference held Monday, EU Commissioner for Climate Action, Connie Hedegaard, said that based on the encouraging results of the ICAO Council meeting on November 9th, the EU is convinced that a global solution for addressing the fast-growing aviation emissions from international aviation is within reach at the upcoming ICAO assembly in 2013. As a gesture of good faith, the EU will stop the clock on the implementation of the international aspects of its ETS. However, that promising announcement did not deter members of the U.S. House of Representatives from overwhelmingly approving a plan by U.S. Senators Claire McCaskill and John Thune, which the bill's authors say would protect American consumers and jobs from a European Union tax on the U.S. airline industry. What goes up must come down, but that's not always the case with rockets. So SpaceX is trying to change that with their revolutionary Grasshopper, a 10-story vertical takeoff and landing vehicle. In a test conducted on November 1st, the Grasshopper rose 17.7 feet, hovered, and touched back down safely on the pad at SpaceX's rocket development facility in McGregor, Texas. The Grasshopper program is a critical step toward achieving SpaceX's goal of developing fully and rapidly reusable rockets. With Grasshopper, SpaceX engineers are testing the technology that would allow a launched rocket to land intact rather than burning up upon re-entry to the Earth's atmosphere. SpaceX is conducting the test in 3 phases, with the first being these low-altitude, short-duration flights. In Phase 2, the maximum altitude would be increased to 670 feet, and in Phase 3, the maximum mission altitude would be increased from 670 feet incrementally up to 11,500 feet. You're watching Airborne. We're back with more in a moment.
Since its inception, Redbird Flight Simulations has been dedicated to developing new training technologies and processes in an ongoing effort to make aviation safer, more affordable, and more accessible. Consider Redbird's flagship flight training device, the FMX, a superior quality, full-motion, feature-rich advanced aviation training device priced with real-world flight training organizations in mind. With standard features that are anything but standard, such as wraparound visuals, a fully enclosed cockpit, quick change configurations, scenario-based training compatibility, and of course, an electric motion platform, the FMX serves up a level of realism that is simply unavailable in other training devices on the market. For more information on Redbird flight simulations, the Redbird FMX, and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to suggest a story for Airborne, Aero-TV, our website, or podcast, send us an email to news-spy@aero-news.net. Just like Maverick and Top Gun, Boeing apparently feels the need for speed, as a plane maker has rolled out the first 787 Dreamliner, built at the new rate of 5 airplanes per month. The airplane is the 83rd 787 to be built. Earlier this year, the plane maker increased the rate from 2.5 to 3.5 airplanes per month, and is on track to achieve a planned 10 per month rate by late 2013. The program production rate accounts for airplanes built at Boeing, South Carolina, and Everett, including the temporary surge line that was activated earlier this year in Everett. It's said that necessity is the mother of invention, so after the devastating typhoon and tsunamis that ravaged Japan, the Japanese RC helicopter manufacturer Hirobo recently unveiled a personal electric helicopter at the International Aerospace Exhibition in Nagoya, Japan. Company president Kotaro Matsuzaka said that the aircraft is intended for use during emergencies and disasters. He said that he expects the development program to cost some $125 million. The aircraft should fly for about 30 minutes on a single battery charge and is capable of reaching speeds of up to 62 miles per hour, according to Matsuzaka. Matsuzaka said that the issues standing in the way of the aircraft are more legal than technical. However, he did say that a two-place version of the aircraft is also on the drawing boards. Still, it may be a long time before the average commuter can get his or her hands on such a flying machine, if ever. But pretty much any pilot who sees one is bound to have an "I have to have one" reaction. Aviation issues make up only 2 of the 10 items on the NTSB's Most Wanted list, released by the board on Wednesday. But airport surface operation safety captured the #1 spot. It seems the NTSB is seeking safer skies on the ground. According to the report, some of the deadliest accidents involving airplanes have occurred not in the air, but on the runway. The board says that to make better decisions during takeoff and landing, pilots require better resources to improve their situational awareness. They point to ground movement safety systems such as cockpit moving map displays, runway status lights, and enhanced final approach runway occupancy signals as potential solutions. The board said pilot training is also critical to a pilot's success on the airport surface. Well, it's Friday and time for ANN's Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell's Barnstorming Commentary. Today, Jim shares a view of life inside ANN. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Thanks, Ashley. Hi, folks. Well, the normal gig here at ANN is a pretty cool one. We kind of liken it to a good, bad, and ugly scenario. Most of the times, things here are pretty cool. We're dealing with great planes, great people, great industry, a fascinating process. And under most circumstances, this is the dream job. You get to play in all the things that fascinate you and the things that you really enjoy. But then there's the bad and ugly side. ANN and in all my previous endeavors, myself personally and the staff that I work with, have chosen to try to tell you the truth, sometimes under pretty tough circumstances. We're tired of listening to folks who complain about this and that and have to come to us because if they have to read it in Flying or AOPA or other places, all they're getting is brochure copy and they don't believe that they're getting the truth. And we tend to agree. There's no question that aviation journalism has by and large turned to advertorial. There's some bright spots here and there, but not many. We're trying to tell you the truth, but I got to tell you, there's a price to pay. We're constantly threatened, we're constantly harassed, we're constantly belittled. Right now I've got some nonsense being circulated where a picture was taken of me at the AOPA summit talking to some folks at the National Gay Pilots Association who were thanking us for an aero-tv piece we did, gosh, it must have been 2 years ago. It was a pleasant conversation, nice folks, had a great time. But now this picture is being circulated because, ha ha ha, you know about Jim Campbell? I mean, come on, folks, give it a rest. We're not going to change what we do. We believe in what we say. We believe in giving you the truth because sometimes the truth will not only keep you from being defrauded, it'll keep you alive. We're dealing with this con man out west who's conducting illegal warbird adventure rides in uncertified experimental aircraft outside of the FAR's improperly trained and authorized pilots producing rides that are destined to kill somebody if this stuff keeps up. The airplanes are breaking, they are having problems, and people are just beginning to wonder at what point are the feds going to shut this nonsense down. And don't get us started on the fight with Cirrus Aircraft. For the better part of 2 years, we've been fighting a legal battle about our stories about Cirrus, which are true, about the contract they broke with us because they didn't like what we wrote about them, about the eventual sale to China, about all the breaking of contracts, about investor complaints, about delays in the jet program, about this, that, and the other. And ultimately, it all comes down to the fact that they've gotten to a point of almost settling this thing with us once and for all and starting to pay us at least part of what they owe us. But only if we back down and remove some of the stuff we've written or give them control over what we write in the future. Not going to happen, not going to do it, not a chance, not while I got a dime in my pocket and my freedom at stake, not a chance. We're going to tell you a little bit more about this in the future. We're going to ask for your help in putting a stop to it because at this stage of the game, it's just god-awful awesome. But at the same time, I have to tell you, my commitment to you now, in the future, and forever is as long as we're able to do so, you're going to get the truth from us because you deserve it, because you need it, and because it'll keep you both safe and free and alive. And that ultimately is job one. For the Aero-News Network, Aero-TV, and of course Airborne, I'm Jim Campbell. Take care, folks.
Finally, today on Airborne, the founders of a female-owned photography studio in Los Angeles have come up with a great publicity stunt. They say it's designed to urge women to take risk in their lives by skydiving dressed only in lingerie. The jump is planned for this Saturday, November 17th. The campaign, called Be Bold, Take a Leap, was hatched after the photographers, Jennifer Hoffman and Marissa Gallegos, went skydiving in only their skivvies in May. ABC News reports that the founders of SME&E Photography said they hadn't planned to make the jump so scantily clad, but that the temperature outside that day was nearly 100 degrees. So they slipped into something more comfortable before exiting the plane. Now a group jump is planned this week for an area near Elsinore, California. 5 women will jump wearing lingerie, provided of course by a sponsor. Hoffman told ABC News that all of the women involved have dealt with traumatic events in their lives, from rape to eating disorders. She said the jump isn't about being sexy, but bearing your soul and not being ashamed. Get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember, Airborne is streamed twice weekly and is always online. Join us again next Tuesday. I'm Ashley Hale. Thanks for watching.